welcome to Super Belle Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. You'll have to excuse me a little bit. I don't know if you can hear I'm a little bit husky. I've got a cold again. I'm one of those people who I'll be fine for most of the year, and when we get to the winter, I will get my first cold of the season, and then I will catch every cold going for a few months. And then I will recover and be fine for the bulk of the rest of the year, and then we start the cycle again. So just excuse me being a little bit husky. But yeah, it's Friday Sews. We've made it through January. Woohoo! I'm planning on doing a sort of roundup of my January makes. I actually got quite a bit done in January, so I was quite pleased with that. I don't think February is going to be quite as productive for a few reasons, but I'll get to those at the end of the video. So first up, you might see behind me that lovely fabric I showed you, which I received in the Hey Sew Sister Autumn Project box. I think it's called Joy. It's cotton poplin. It's super cute. I'm just looking at it in the camera because it's so pretty. So you've got a black background, and then you've got these little flowers in different colours. And it is a cotton poplin, but the texture is not like, it's not like a cotton poplin that I've used before. It's very, very smooth. And like, yeah, just a bit more delicate is probably the wrong word, but it just feels a little bit more special than your average cotton poplin. It's slightly less like heavy duty, but it still has sort of the structure and everything that you would expect from that type of fabric, but it's just really, really smooth. I'll talk about the fabric first, and then I'll tell you a bit about the pattern. So I should also say this is part of a collab with Adele at Sofa Serenity. She'll be posting about her make of this pattern. She used different fabric. I believe she used like a viscose challis, so it will have a very different feel, I think. But we both used this pattern, which is Birgitta Helmersson Zero Waist Tiered Dress. I got that pattern in the seasonal project box from Hey Sew Sister as well. And then I was chatting to Adele about doing a collab, and she said, why don't we do a zero waist dress? So that's how we've ended up here. So take a look at her channel. I'm sure most of you follow her anyway, but if not, I will pop it on the screen, and I will also pop it in the box below. So yeah, take a look at her video and hear what she thought about the pattern. So as I said, in terms of the fabric, very on board. Lovely print, really fun, nice, easy fabric to work with, and it's got a nice sort of body. But yeah, it's just soft for a poplin, I think, and the print is obviously really fun. So yeah, big fan of that. Now, the pattern. So I had some reservations before we started, when I first opened the box. And they were mainly to do with like the main silhouette. So I'm someone who's like busty. My waist is my smallest part. And I tend to like to wear things that come in at the waist. I'm never so sure about things that like where the seam sits above the bust. And this one, you can sort of see it's got like a yoke at the front here. And everything hangs from there. So you've got like gathers along this front panel. I'll try and put up some line drawings so you can see better. So there are two options. There's an option with sleeves, which I've done here. And then there's one without sleeves. And then there's also two lengths. So this one, I'll put some pictures up of the full length thing in a second. But it's, I went for the double tier, so it's full length. But you can do it just with a single tier, so it's like a shorter skirt. I think I needed the second tier. It was very short with one tier. Like for me, I don't think wearable. And I'm not tall. So it needed like the weight, I think, to put it down a little bit. But yeah, I had reservations about the shape. It's just quite like, I don't know if shapeless is the wrong word, but do you know what I mean? Just sort of, it gathers here and then it just hangs. And then there's like a lot of volume in. So this is sort of ends up, I mean, they say it's a top skirt, but it almost ends up being like the bodice piece because it goes from here all the way down to like just above your knee sort of thing. So yeah, so let me talk a bit more about the process of a zero waist dress if you haven't come across one before. So effectively, the idea is that you have no fabric left at the end, and I didn't. I had just the selvages, that was it. The thing that confused me a bit when it came is that you only have like a tiny amount of pattern pieces to work with. I'm just going to grab them one sec. Okay, so these are my pattern pieces, okay? So teeny tiny. And the way it works is basically you have a cutting plan that comes with the instructions, and you lay these out as instructed, and basically the negative space that's left creates the other pieces. So it's really clever. And once I had a second where I was like, where are all my pattern pieces? And I thought it was an A0 sheet short, but after I'd read through the instructions, I understood it a bit more. And it's really clever. And I genuinely did not have a scrap of fabric left at the end. Not one piece. Everything went into making this dress. So yeah, so it took a little bit of time to get my head around what I was supposed to be doing. But it's a really clever concept, and it is actually very satisfying to get to the end and have absolutely nothing to deal with. No scraps, no nothing. That was really great. And I would definitely be interested in trying some of the other zero waste patterns out there. I know Birgitta Helmersson has a few different options, and there are some others out there. So I think that element is really good. In terms of the pattern itself, I'm going to put a picture of me wearing my dress here. I wore it to go to a Mamma Mia sing-along event on Friday. So it's a little bit scruffy on my stand behind me because I've not washed it yet. But yeah, I ended up wearing it with a belt, and it's wearable to me with a belt. I don't love the shape of it on me as I expected. I'll also include here a picture of it without the belt. And it's just a bit like, it's too straight up and down, I think, to be something that I would happily wear generally. So those are my thoughts on the silhouette. I think I will wear it as like with the belt, or maybe with something over the top that's like a bit more fitted. But I don't necessarily think it's a silhouette that I'll be rushing to make again. I think the yoke at the top is like a pretty detail. And again, it looked so tiny. I was like, how is this going to fit? But it does. It's really clever the way the sleeves come on. The sleeves are really nice. Yeah, I think on another person, I think I would love this dress. But the silhouette is just not very me. I think the short version is sort of too short. I think the long version, because there's so much volume and it's quite high-necked, it all just feels very, like, covered. Yeah, so I think it's just not me. But I think if I saw it on someone else, I'd probably like it. But yeah, so that's how I felt about the design. Now, in terms of the instructions, the construction on this is really interesting. So, like, I followed it to a T. So I followed the steps exactly as they were in the instructions. And there were times when I felt like it was overcomplicated, maybe. So I think if I were to make this again, or if I were to take elements of this, because there might be elements of it that I do want to use, I think next time I would probably just follow my instincts. But I didn't want to do that this time because obviously I'm doing it to review it for you guys, and like you don't know sometimes, especially because I've never done a zero waste pattern before and I've not worked with a silhouette before. You sort of don't know if there are extra construction steps that just make things easier or neater or whatever. But for the most part, the things I thought were a little weird were things that I think you could just do a more orthodox way, if you wanted to. I think especially Adele messaged me and she was like, have you put the sleeves on yet? And I was like, oh no, I've got them. That's the next step. I've done everything apart from that. She was like, wait till you put the sleeves on. And yeah, the process of putting the sleeves on is like weird. You gather, so you measure along you have your strap. You measure the length of the strap. Yeah, that's right. You measure the length from here to here of the strap. And then you gather it to that amount. And then you like tie it off so it's then fixed. And then you sort of sew it over the top. It was weird. It was just not a way I've ever had to add sleeves before. And again, the finished effect is nice. I don't know if it's that different to if I'd just done it in the normal way. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. There were just a couple of processes where I just thought like, oh, I would have done it probably a different way, and I think the final effect would have been similar. But let me know, maybe if you've made this pattern, like, let me know what you thought about the instructions. But yeah, I just thought it was a little bit all over the place. Not all over the place. I just thought it was unnecessarily complex. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this one. So I think it's a nice dress. I think it looks cute enough when it's on. It also, I'm starting to learn, I found this with the sagebrush as well, with tops that have like this high seam and then gathers from that seam. I don't know if anyone else finds this, but it does not fit with someone with big boobs. I find like it like parts. So it ends up like really gathered in one spot, and then like it like parts over the boobs. And initially I thought like maybe that's a fit thing, but there is so much ease in the bodice of this dress in this part. There's so much ease. And I think it's just like when you have all those gathering at the front, it just sort of like channels itself into your cleavage, or into my cleavage anyway. So I just feel like I end up with this weird effect where it's sort of like, it like frames my chest in a way that I don't normally plan for. So I don't know, maybe that sort of cut is just not for me, which is fine. So yeah, let me know. I definitely would be up for trying a zero waist pattern again. If you know any, or if you've ever done one, like let me know any different designs, because I think it's just a case of the silhouette is not the silhouette for me. So I don't think it's anything against the design, because as I said, I've seen people like this in high neck, big billowy dresses, and they look absolutely great. But I just need like a little bit more definition, I think. Although sometimes maybe it's nice to just sort of float around in a big gown. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to be rushing to make this one again, but I will be wearing this one and enjoying it. So yeah, if you have any zero waist suggestions, let me know, or any questions about zero waist. Yeah, let me know below. So I thought I'd show you some other bits and bobs that have been happening this week. I've had some bits delivered. I sewed up another garment. And then I've got an update on my machine, because I think I was telling you last time about my buttonhole problems, about my Cali, which is still unfinished, and I will explain why later. So my finished garment, I haven't taken photos of this yet, so this is exclusive to you, is a lovely toaster sweater. Right, now the colour's actually coming up all right here. When I tried to photograph it on my mannequin, the colours came up really weirdly. So it's, I think the shade is called Dark Petrol, and it's from, the fabric was gifted by Minerva.com. It's a French terry, and it's really lovely, actually. I feel like, excuse me. Yeah, so it's a French terry from Minerva.com, and the shade is Dark Petrol. I will add a link for it below. The pattern is by Sew House 7. It's the toaster sweater, and this was sent to me by the lovely Judy from Running So and So, who very sweetly, I know her from the Jenny Stitches blogger team, and we met up in York last summer when I was up there, and then she sent me this pattern, and then they've got another pattern. I think it's the Cosmos sweater and elemental skirt, like duo. So this is my first ever Sew House 7 pattern, and it's really cute. I mean, it's got this nice, it's sort of quite a cropped length. As I said, I haven't taken a picture of it yet, so I can't really show you what it looks like on. But it's got this nice funnel neck. It's like quite a short length. It's got raglan sleeves. The fit is really lovely. It's very quick. So, yeah, I'll take some pictures and I'll show you a bit more of it. But that's what I've been working on this week. I added, you know, I was telling you my issue with plain fabrics, how I never want to make anything plain, and then I haven't got anything to wear with anything else. I couldn't just leave it plain, could I? Had to put rainbow hearts on. I regret nothing. I love the rainbow hearts. I bought these, I think I ordered them off, it might have even been off Amazon, not sure. But yeah, it's just a pack of hearts and miscellaneous colours, and I stitched them on. I found in my stash I had thread to more or less match each one, so I ironed them and then hand stitched them on. So that's the other garment that I finished this week, and yeah, very pleased with that. So as I said, I'll show you pictures once I've taken them. I plan to take them on Wednesday, but then I've had this cold and it's just, everything's just like fallen out of schedule. Right, the other thing that came, so I had two things that came this week, both of which I've spoken to you about before. One is this organza from Rainbow Fabrics. So I don't shop too much from Rainbow Fabrics anymore, just because when I was sort of in my earlier sewing days, I really fell for their hauls and I just bought so much, and I've ended up with, it was like more than I could possibly sew. I donated a lot of that stuff the other week. I've obviously kept plenty as well, but I try and leave it now for things that I just really specifically want. So recent buys have been, I purchased some, they had some like ivory satin with little hearts on, which I purchased a little while ago because I'm planning on making a robe for my wedding, like for when we're getting ready. And then there's this organza, which I was initially going to make a wilder gown. so pretty. But I don't know if you can see, I mean, on the website, it looked much less, like here it's sort of iridescent, which I think is common for organza, but I feel like that didn't really come across on the website. And it's just got a bit more body than I thought. So I'd initially said I was going to make a wild gown. But I've now had different thoughts. So when I saw it, actually the fabric in front of me, I sort of thought, I'm sure a wilder gown would be nice, but I don't know, I just felt like there was maybe something a bit more interesting that I could do with it. So I did a little search online to see if I could find the inspiration, and I found a picture of this dress from Coast. And obviously I don't have any plans to like print or paint anything on the bottom part of the dress. Just imagine this dress is all black. But I thought something like that would actually be really nice. I like the little gold buttons. I like the little puffy sleeves. I think the shirt idea, I think, is just really interesting. So obviously I'm a bit limited by my lack of working buttonholes at the moment, but and then I had to think about patterns, and I thought maybe like Lyra. So the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra is slightly like looser fit in the bodice. But I thought maybe that would work anyway. Or maybe I streamline it a bit more. Another shirt dress I've made where I've liked the fit was the cashmerette. What is it called? The cashmerette shirt dress. It'll come back to me. That I made a little while ago. The only thing is it's princess seamed. The fit is amazing, but it's princess seamed, and I just don't know if having those seams down like over the chest is like a bit distracting when it's a sort of see-through fabric. So obviously you'd have French seams, but I just think it's like a bit too obvious. So whereas I think with Lyra you just have bust darts. Yeah, I don't know, but I sort of think the shirt dress might be a cute way to do it, and like a bit more like dressy maybe. And also I think I might be more likely to wear it. So that is my current plan for that. I'm gonna, as I said, play around with getting, because I'm not sure if the fit of the Lyra is exactly right. And I might play around with the sleeves as well, but that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm quite excited about that. And then the other thing that turned up is down here is my undies kits from New Craft House have finally turned up. So I thought I'd show you what's in each kit. So I got the Wren bra in the mesh kit, and then I also got the briefs. So I haven't looked, the pattern I still need to get printed. I have it, but I haven't printed it yet. But I just thought I'd show you what's in here. So you get the mesh fabric, which is this nice pinky colour. It's a bit, I would say it's darker in person. It's like slightly more purpley tones than it's showing up on my camera anyway. So I've got the mesh. And then I have an array of different sort of bands and elastics. So there's this one, which I think is a fold down one. There's this one, which, I don't know, maybe straps, don't know. And there's this one, which could be for anything. Don't know, 3 different types of straps. I'm sure it will become clear when I have the instructions. And then you also get the hook fastening for the back. You get the 2 little sliders and this ring. I don't know if there should have been more than 1 ring. Not sure. I guess I'll work it out again when I'm putting it together. I also purchased, I'd ordered some thread, but they ended up running out of the matching colour. But they told me what the colour was, so I've ordered that. And then in the brief kit is much more simple. You just get the mesh and some sort of cotton jersey, and which I guess for the gusset, and then some fold over elastic as well. So yeah, so they're on my list. I'm not sort of urgently worried about making them, but I'm going to get those printed off, and I'm hoping, I mean, the pants I think will be quite an easy sew. When I looked at the pattern, it's literally like 2 pieces to it. So that's quite straightforward. The bra I'm a little more nervous about, obviously, because fitting a bra is much more involved. So yeah, I'll keep you going on the process, but I don't think that's going to happen sort of imminently. But maybe this month. Maybe I'll get to it this month. I'll explain my issues with this month momentarily. Right, so that's everything I was going to show you in that sense. So that shows you some things I've finished. It shows you some things that have been delivered and some plans. And then we start to think about what's going to happen in the next few weeks. So for anyone who watched my last couple of videos, they might remember that I was making a Cali shirt, and which is a closet core design. I don't know where it is. It's over there somewhere. And it's almost finished, but then my Faff Ambition 620, the buttonholes have given up the ghost. So initially they wouldn't work, and then eventually I got one to start, but it just sewed over and over and over and over right at the top of my placket. And I was trying to film demonstrating that it wasn't working so that I could send it to Faff for some help. And then it did work, and I thought, oh, and then it just sewed this it like sort of sewed over itself and left this very dense blob of stitching, which is actually really irritating, but there you go. So people have sent me lots of really nice suggestions as to what to do regarding this, and I have tried all of them. I did have messages from a couple of people who also have the same machine who said they had a similar problem with their buttonhole settings, so that they worked fine for about 6 months, and then the automatic buttonhole just sort of stopped working. So I've ummed and ahed, and in the end it's under warranty, so I'm just sending it back for them to have a look at it and fix it. I'm really reluctant to do it because I just like having the machine around, but I've tried to time it. So they're coming to collect the machine next Friday. And I have quite a busy weekend, and then I'm away Monday to Friday that week. So I was like, I'll be away for a week when I wouldn't use the machine anyway. I have no idea how long they will have it for. So basically the amount, I'm trying not to be too strict on what I'm preparing to sew this month, because I don't know how much of it I'm going to have my machine for. My plan when I'm away, so I'm going up north, like Nate will be here working. I am going up north with my mum to do some wedding organisation stuff. We're meeting up with a family friend of ours who is doing the venue dressing. She's coming up as well, and we're taking her to the venue, and we're meeting with the props people at the venue. And we're going to go to a church, and me and my mum are going to this hat shop for her and to look at she's going to try on some things to wear for the wedding. So yeah, it's going to be a really nice week actually, but I'm going to take up some things to cut out in the hope that then when my machine comes back I can just go for it. So today I've been cutting out another pair of pyjamas, which I was telling you about before. It's this fabric that I purchased in Brighton, so I've just been cutting out another pair of Hudson pants. I think I'm going to make a t-shirt for the top this time, a shorter sleeve t-shirt. That's the current plan anyway. And then I'm also going to cut out the dress that came in my Little Miss So-and-so kit. And then I've got a few options for Valentine's projects. I've got to just pick one. I'm thinking I'm going to do something with that lovely Fabric Godmother crepe with the swooning hearts on it. But I don't really know what. I was thinking maybe a Marnie, but I don't know if I've got enough for the top because it's quite like fabric hungry, that pattern. So we'll see. But yeah, so I'm going to try and get a couple of things sewn up. I'll hopefully be able to do a video for you for next Friday sews. And I'm hoping also I'll be able to show you my January roundup. It's all just going to depend. At the moment, obviously, I'm ill. I have a concert on Tuesday. So as always, it's just a big old unnecessary stress. So yeah, we'll see how it all goes. But I'm hoping to get all of that done. And then you'll have probably a week where I don't post a video just because I'll be away and I won't be sewing anything. Yeah, but then hopefully my machine will come back. I can finish my Cali. I can get going on all of my other plans. It's like suddenly, because I can't sew buttonholes, it's like every pattern I'm drawn to has buttonholes in it, which just seems ridiculous. But here we are. So yeah, anyway, I've waffled on for ages, as usual. I hope you've had a really good week. I've really enjoyed, as always, the comments and the chats that I've been having with people. There have been a few new followers in the past week or so as well, so welcome and thank you for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please do like and subscribe. I will see you next week when I am hopefully less husky. All right, thanks for tuning in. You take care. Bye.